and hello and welcome to Let's Talk the Winchesters. Today, episode 3. And of course, with me is Carla from Carla Astrology. Hey, good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
And yeah, so I see that it is on YouTube, so everything's good. And yeah, we're only in episode 3 and we have feelings about
Yes.
it. But let's get into that a little bit later. So we're going to do a little recap of the story. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is your spoiler warning. And after a little recap, we're going to talk about our feelings. Okay. So in this episode, we are in Lawrence, Kansas, and we are in the house next door to where Mary actually lives. So the monster in this episode leaves this burlap sack behind. Well, actually, the sack appears. The monster climbs out of it. Here we can see the hands. It snatches up its victims, and then the burlap sack is gone. And then we hear Dean's words, and he says, "No, not yet, not yet." So Dean narrates again, and he says, there's no map to being a hunter, no playbook. You got to follow your gut. But that can only take you so far. Truth is, you can't do it all on your own. You need other people to help guide the way, your friends, your family. Otherwise, you just end up lost. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So next we see the gang in the clubhouse, and they are going through all of the files because the main objective of the show still, and hi Jamie, good morning, thanks for joining us. So the main objective of the show still seems to be, we need to find Samuel. It's like Daddy hasn't come home from a hunting trip and we need to find him. So it's all about Samuel, and they have gone through all of the journals, the files and everything. Still no trace of Samuel. And we also learn that Mary's parents are apparently split up at this point because the mother seems to be off somewhere hunting on her own with other people maybe. So the family seems to be a complete mess at this point. Next, we see that, yeah, so they talked through all of this, and the main question is still, where's the dad? But one thing that doesn't come up here is Henry, because everything is just revolving about Samuel at this point, and a question that we have at this point is, what about Henry? What about John's father? I mean, wasn't he looking for his dad too? Whatever happened to the men of letters? All of that. So Mary is just going on about her dad giving her the silent treatment because she said that she wanted out of the hunting life. And so she takes this really personal and not in a very mature way. And it actually takes her friend Lada to put things in perspective and to say, you know what, you talked about wanting to get out. Maybe he's just showing you that he can do this without you so that you can actually live your life. And she's like, okay, well, whatever. Still moving on, still we have to find him. So Mary is very self-absorbed in this. Next, we see them going to the basement, and we see that Ada's notes are spread all over the desk, and they're going through it, trying to find some information on the demon that possessed her, the box, the Akrita, all of that stuff. And she picks out an address in all of those notes, and they decide to split up and investigate. Carlos comes in and then informs Mary that something is happening in her next door neighbor's house and she better go and check it out. Police is there. Something seems to be going on. So Mary and John go investigate her neighbor's house, and Carlos and Ada go and investigate the address, go to the stakeout. And once again, Mary is the one calling the shots. But did we expect anything else? No. So next, we see that one of the cops is actually John's friend, Betty, and right away we find out that there seems to be some history between the two of them before he went to the war. So this is his ex-girlfriend, and she's a cop, which is also kind of interesting, the combination between hunters and cops, which we also have in Supernatural. Like they always have someone from law enforcement on their side. So maybe we will see more of Betty in the future because maybe she might become an ally and, you know, from law enforcement, being able to give them information that they might not get otherwise. Who knows? And Mary doesn't really seem affected by whatever is going on between the two of them, and she just focuses on the task at hand, and she doesn't really get into that. She doesn't get jealous or anything. She just introduces herself, and that's it. And next, they investigate the crime scene in the house, where Mary then finds some leftover remains of the sack that the monster left behind. And we can already see the writing is not English. And looking at these letters, we can guess that it's from India. So, which we will later find out as well. And well, they try to find out what this is. Ada and Carlos are on their stakeout, and they're trying to find the other demon that worked with the one that possessed Ada. And Ada brought a little bonsai tree to the stakeout while Carlos is listening to this pirate radio station with this DJ Rockin' Roxy. And Carlos is completely bored. He just wants to get some action, which he will get pretty soon because, oops, the demon then shows up. They have a little fight. They trap him in a demon trap in the car. And next we see that there is, they interrogate him, and instead of exorcising the demon, Ada actually puts him in the bonsai tree because that way they make sure that the demon doesn't go back to other demons and tells them what's going on. And if they ever need him again, they can just get him out of the bonsai tree. Otherwise, he would be trapped in there as a punishment for as long as that tree lives. But before he is trapped in that tree, he actually tells them an important piece of information, that the leader of the Akrita is taking a page out of the demon's playbook, and she has possessed a human. She is hiding inside of a human woman, and the demon doesn't know who it is because that hasn't been revealed yet. So next, Lata actually finds out what kind of monster they're dealing with, and it's one that is called Bori Baba, which translates to Father Sack, which is an old story from northern India that she learned about as a kid when she grew up there. And she tells, well, actually not she, but John asks, like, hey, can't you just ask your parents? And then Mary says, no, her parents are dead. And she says, well, I can call up some other people maybe to help me find out how to kill this thing. And because I don't really remember all the stuff that I've been told as a kid. And so she tries to contact some people. And during that phone conversation, we actually hear something interesting. Whoever she's talking to might be someone from her family. And she says, tell mom I'm okay. So the whole story about her parents being dead is also not true. At least her mom seems to still be alive. So I'm guessing later on in the show, we will find out what her family's secret is. And in the meantime, Mary made an interesting observation that suddenly, now that the men of letters are gone, all these wayward monsters show up from all over the world, and they come there, and they figure that it must have something to do with the Akrita, and I guess we'll find out more in coming episodes. So next we see that the police officer, she is checking up on the other kid that was in the neighbor house, and she gets to talking with John. She also gives him back a ring. So it seems that the two of them were more involved than just boyfriend, girlfriend. Seems like they were actually engaged. And so, yeah, we get a little bit more of John's story here, that he tells her that he's been really wrapped up in finding his father, because that's like the one thing that he's really interested in, finding out what happened to his dad. And she understands that. She doesn't pressure him for any more answers. And she just says, well, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. So I'm guessing we may see her again. And next, let's see, what do we have? Oh, okay, no. Okay, so I mean, I don't have pictures of that. So they eventually find out how to get the monster. Mary actually goes into the sack, finds the kids, and John and Lata find out that the items that trap them or that lured them into the sack have to be destroyed, which they do. So they all make it out of the sack. Then the monster appears in our world, where he can't really survive too much because he's vulnerable. They kill him, and that monster is gone. So, and then we see that woman in that pirate radio station, and then one of those monsters that we can now see a little bit better, which looks like a combination of maybe a scorpion and a snake and something else. I don't know. It grabs a piece of the Bori Baba that John was burning and brings it back to her. And she once again opens one of those glass bottles to collect the soul of the monster. So now we know that Rockin' Roxy, the DJ, is actually the woman where the leader of the Akrita is hiding in. So I'm very surprised that already in episode 3, they reveal who it is, even though she is someone that we don't know from the story. So we know it's not Rowena, because Rowena would still look the way that she did in Supernatural, and she wouldn't look younger than that. So I'm curious to see where this goes and why that woman was picked, if she is special or if they just picked her at random. I guess that remains to be seen, and that's what we got for this episode. So what did you think about the episode?
Well, I mean, it's disappointing because I thought that it was supposed to be more about the romance kind of between John and Mary, like getting together. And it just feels like they're kind of going this way. He's talking more to Lata about stuff, and she's hooks up with somebody at the freaking movie theater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always knew that it wouldn't go into the romance right away, because she's probably going to do the push and pull dance with him for quite a while.
And then know nothing about the men of letters, just, very minute stuff. So
yeah, that is indeed a little bit disappointing, because well, for me, the whole disappointment is also the fact that they're changing so much. What does that say?
It says, "You're awesome. Keep that shit up."
Huh. You're awesome. That's something that Dean said to that one policeman once when he was kind of high or whatever. Oh, yeah. So, with the whole way that Jensen Ackles and his wife Danielle are like spinning this whole story, I have to say I mean, we're at episode 3 now, and I'm already disappointed and kind of over it. First of all, the whole Mary character, she is annoying as hell, at least to me. Like, I don't really find her sympathetic in the least bit, because she's just acting like a brat. I can't say it any other way. And comparing that to the Mary that we got to know in Supernatural, and I don't mean the older version and the later seasons, I actually mean when in season 4 and 5, we got to meet her when Sam and Dean traveled back in time. That was a very different person. And I actually rewatched season 4, episode 3, which was called In the Beginning. And that's the one where Dean traveled back in time. Like, Castiel actually brought him into that time. That was to see what happened with Yellow Eyes and why that deal was even made and why his mother had to die and all of that. And in that episode, we also find out that apparently she and John have been together for a couple of years. But given the date, it's April 30th, 1973, so it's 1 year after the Winchesters starts. And here they say they've already been together for a couple years, so the time doesn't really add up. And in that original Supernatural episode, John knows nothing about Mary's life as a hunter. He has no idea what hunters and monsters and men of letters and any of that are. And something that I found really interesting in that episode, and I sent you another picture, Carla.
Oh, yes, you did. Yep.
Mary was wearing this bracelet, and in the Winchesters, we saw that she had this, the thing that they also have it as a tattoo, but this is the bracelet that we get to see on Supernatural. So we do see a pentagram and a cross, but what's also interesting, we see the sign of the Men of Letters on there. So the Campbells, they actually know about the Men of Letters, but John doesn't. And I found that very interesting. And I don't know why they would feel the need to go into that story and change everything so much. I mean, I guess, yeah, they wanted to make a show about the parents falling in love. And the only way that they could do that is to introduce the element of hunting again. But it goes against everything that we have learned about the backstory of the parents. And I don't like it, because we have gotten to know them in this way. And this is what the storyline was that we were presented with, that Sam and Dean both found out. And in episode, what was it, 13, season 5, Sam and Dean both travel back in time. And that's when Mary found out that she was newly pregnant with Dean. And so even then, John had no idea. And in the first time that Dean traveled back, he actually talked to his mom without revealing who he is and asked him, hey, so why John? What is it about him? And Mary said, well, he's everything that a hunter isn't. So John just talks about himself as a mechanic from a family of mechanics, and that's it. That's really it. There is no Men of Letters, legacy, anything in there. There's no hunting, no. And then at the end of that episode, Yellow Eyes has already possessed Samuel, and he killed John, actually. And Mary made a deal with Yellow Eyes to bring John back. That's why they made that deal in 1973, and that's why in 1983, Mary had to die, because there's always this 10-year thing, so that they stay true to in Supernatural. But I have no idea what they're actually going to do with the Winchesters.
Yeah. I actually drew a card, and it was the Six of Pentacles again, but it flew out and hit the floor. So my guess is it was reversed. So
Yeah.
it makes me think they're not taking into consideration the super fans like yourself who know the original storyline and know and can see the holes and like, and so you already know where to look. It's like me, I wouldn't even know where to look. I love
mean,
to, but
all 15 seasons are on Amazon Prime. It's like the easiest thing for any of us to rewatch it and to be like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you
this
know
doesn't
where
happen.
the storyline and
And yeah, so pretty much those 2 episodes out of like 15 seasons completely negate the entire Winchester storyline that we are given in this new show. So I really don't know what Jensen was thinking with this. Like, why? I mean, I can understand introducing some characters that were also not there in Supernatural. That it really just seemed like a family business kind of thing. But then again, we didn't see too much of Mary's hunting life before Dean appeared and found his parents. So like that, the whole Scooby Gang, that is perfectly fine. But yeah, like changing that whole thing around, and then like we have so much of the Men of Letters, like the symbol in the opening credits is from the Men of Letters, and they are in the clubhouse of the Men of Letters, but I still feel like they're not even utilizing that at all.
yeah.
And with the Akrita, like the big bad enemy that's coming to take over the world and wipe out all of humanity, or maybe even the animals, like everything in existence. Why are they not investigating the Men of Letters? Why is there no talk about, like, hey, what happened to them 15 years ago? Where did they go? No mention of Abaddon. It's like the whole thing is just, let's find Samuel. Like, what's he gonna do about it? No, let's look at all the files and the journals and everything and find out what happened to the Men of Letters and what do they know. I doubt that Samuel, as just one man, can find out all the information that they can find out as a group, tapping into various sources and stuff. Like, I really don't know where this is going.
Well, I'm going to advocate just because that's what I do. Maybe, just maybe, John's going to get his memory wiped.
That would be the only thing that makes sense at this point.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. What else?
Yeah. But then hopefully Mary too, because then we can come back to this whole thing making sense again.
Yeah, because even in the episodes where she came back and she's the older Mary, in the Supernatural, she explained that the way she was because of afraid of losing everything again. So she went through all that stuff to be kind of cold and distant for a little bit, until Dean was like, come on, wake up. Yeah. So not be like that in the very beginning. Yeah, she's a brat.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I can see the change in John after his wife died, becoming the hard ass hunter and not being the loving family father that he would have been had Yellow Eyes never appeared in the first place.
Right.
But like, yeah, I guess losing your wife, the love of your life, and all of that, and then this need for revenge is just really blinding to a person and can change someone so much. But that all makes sense. But this, like, I don't know.
I know.
At this point, I don't know if I want the show to continue after season 1. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
can't really see it.
I don't think you're alone. I think that fan base out there is questioning just like you are. Like, come on, what's going on here? Where are you going with this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. And for me it's also too much like season 1 repeat of Supernatural. Like dad's been on a hunting trip, he hasn't been home, let's go find him and do all that. It's like we've already had that. Give us
Yeah.
something new.
Yeah, we were discussing that yesterday about how they're using like stereotypes. And I
Mm.
noticed at the end of even though there's no way it could be Rowena, she's like got that, like it's someone like her maybe, but yet like you said, she's just a meat suit right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yet they're using the same stereotype, typical type people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe she is a witch and we don't know that about her just yet. Who
Maybe, or
knows?
she becomes one after being possessed.
Yeah. Or she really was just, I don't know, open to these kind of things since she has like a pirate radio station, which means she must not be conforming to the norm too much.
Right,
So she
yeah.
might be a rebel, and that makes her easily accessible to the supernatural in a way, maybe.
Yeah, because we don't know if she was a DJ before she was possessed by the Akrita leader or she
Yeah.
became one after.
Yeah. So that is something I'm hoping. I mean, they still got 10 episodes in this season left, that we will get a lot more information on that. And yeah, then we'll see how they would continue that if there is a season 2. I mean, right off the bat in the first season, they're starting with like someone that is possibly as bad as God, wiping out
Yeah.
all of existence. So that would be interesting to see how they would top that in season 2.
Yeah.
What kind of big bad wolf they would have to fight then.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
knows? So yeah, but for now, I mean, I'm still going to continue watching and we're still going to continue talking about this for all 13 episodes. So yeah, what do you think about the show? Let us know in the comments section. Um, are you as irritated about this as I am, or are you saying, hey, let's just give it a chance, let's see where this is going? Yeah, let us know, and we will see you next week for episode 4, and fingers crossed for something good. So, until then, have a good weekend and see you next time. Bye.